Hello and welcome to our Global GHK. It's an honor and a big privilege for me to be a part of our Global GHK. Thank you, Dr. Varghese, and thank you, Global GHK. My name is Dr. Sarah. I'm a homeopathic practitioner from UK and a wellness health coach. Every other day, we come across many cases where patients are suffering from thyroid problem. So I thought, why not choose this topic, as it will help me as well as you to understand its role, evolution, and the emotional triggers. And the other reason behind choosing this topic was I recently got diagnosed with hypothyroidism myself. And because of that, I was able to dig deeper onto finding the reason behind it. In my situation, I already knew what was the trigger, and I had to work on finding the solution to that problem. Now, we all go through many situations in our life, and sometimes it's difficult to overcome those. But through the help of our mentors, we can help ourselves and come out of those conflicts. As GHK students, we all want to understand diseases. Thanks that we have many experienced tutors amongst us who are working day and night trying to help us overcome this fear. And I'm just playing a small part in this. I hope you'll benefit from this webinar and will be able to apply this in your life. Let's begin. So let's understand the development and the function of thyroid first. Thyroid, it's a very small gland, but we'll say very powerful. It helps to speed up the metabolism. You can imagine day and night, your body needs to produce energy. And every nutrient you have, it needs to get converted into that energy. And that's because of thyroxine, which is released from the thyroid. From this, you can understand how tiring it would be for the thyroid to slow down, because it needs to finish its task at the end, but it's not able to do that due to some unresolved conflicts. Now, according to the location, thyroid is located just in front of the trachea. So it's a very beautiful butterfly-shaped gland consisting of right and the left half. Along with producing the energy, it stores iodine. It produces calcitonin and is very important for development in infants and children. Now, during the development in the embryo, thyroid gland, it was part of an oropharynx. And when the gullet broke open, it descended into the neck through the tongue and the hide bone. So from this, you can see that it was an exocrine gland, which released the thyroxine into the gut before, but later when it got involved, it became an endocrine gland. And that's where it released the toxins in the blood. From this, you can clearly see how development of any organ plays an important role in their function. At brain level, it is controlled from brainstem. From this picture, there are two control centers, the right half and the left half. There is no cross-correlation from the brain to the organ. Thyroid is all about speeding things up. It plays a role in digestion. As its biological conflict is off, as you can guess, cell conflict. It is still a part of alimentary canal because of its evolution. Hence, it's a cell conflict. So what is cell conflict? Cell involves food and is linked to the digestive organs. And as thyroid was part of the digestive organ before, it is still attached to this conflict. And the function of the digestive organs is to intake the morsel or to remove that morsel. Similarly, the right lobe of the thyroid is of intaking the morsel, and the left half is the removing the morsel. Because thyroid, it expects the things to move quicker. But over here in the conflict, whatever is being intaken or what has been even removed is very slow in process. We are not giving what it requires. Just let me explain these morsel in detail, that maybe you will be able to understand. So ingoing conflict, which is the right half of the thyroid. Now, this is just the way to describe what morsel where you were. So you were slow to catch that morsel. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? That ingoing morsel, something you want to take it inside, but you were very slow to take that inside, very slow to catch that morsel. Like, for example, you worked very hard for a promotion, but you missed out on it. There were lots of targets you had to meet at the end of the day, but you were not able to meet. For example, a deadline was approaching, but you missed it. You were eager to buy a house, but because at the last minute the deal was closed, you were not able to take that house. And that was like a dream house. You wanted it. You were eagerly waiting for it. You were slow to catch that morsel. Similarly, single moms were trying their best to juggle between the family, the finances, and themselves. And at the end, they are not able to meet their needs. So they find themselves very slow to perform. So from these things, you can see ingoing morsel is all about taking that part of that situation in your life, but you failed to do it in a quicker way. That's why you feel that you were unable to catch that morsel. Similarly, in the left half is the outgoing morsel, something you want to remove out of your life, but you were very slow to remove that out of your life. For example, if you are in a bad relationship or you have a narcissist husband and it's a very difficult situation you're living and you want that person out of your life, but you're unable to remove that person out of your life. And at the end, the time has come that that person has been out of your life, but you blame it on yourself, saying that you were very slow to remove that person out of your life. So you were very slow to get rid of that morsel. Similarly, if you feel stuck in your life, like as if you're constipated, I can example. What happens to you when you're constipated? You feel irritated. You feel that there's no hope. Similarly, as in for you're faced with constipation, your life is stuck. There is no way out. You are very slow to get out of any situation you want to be, and there is no hope. Here you can see whether you are taking the conflict or removing the conflict. Whatever you're doing, you're too slow to do it. Hence, your body's metabolism, it slows down, and there is insufficient production of the thyroxine. So what's happening in your psyche, your brain, and your organ level? So during the conflict active stage, when you have gone through these kind of stages where you're slow to take in the morsel, or you were very slow to take out the morsel, what will happen? So your psyche is telling that you were very slow to perform the task. You were very slow to do what you had to do. At the same time, at the brain level, the brain stem is affected. And at the organ level, there is a proliferation of the thyroid gland cells. So as I said earlier, thyroid is all about speeding. It's like speeding up the metabolism, but it has received a slow signal and it has become too slow and need to speed more. And that's where it will start working more faster so it can cope with all the demands. So when there is more demands, when the body needs to work more faster, what will your body say? Your body will say, increase the thyroid hormone so we can speed the things up. So you don't have to be slow and you can get whatever you need to get. So the more urgent the matter is, the cells will be proliferated in the very excess. But if you're conscious of your emotional state and you're able to resolve quicker, then there is no issue. But if it's been going for too long, your body is helping you to survive, is trying to get rid of that conflict or trying to catch that conflict. This will lead to a nodule formation because of excess proliferation of the cells. And that's called a hot nodule. So in your psyche, you're constantly thinking about the conflict. That's causing a formation of ring on your brain. And at the organ level, there is a high proliferation of thyroid gland cells leading to a nodule, and some rare cases leading to the inflammation of the thyroid. So these are the steps which happens during the conflict active phase. Because you're feeling rushed, you got too many responsibilities. Your body is in a sympathetic mode. And that's when it will produce these symptoms. You'll feel more restless, anxious, your body is worrying, getting night sweats, you'll be going to the toilets in the night. So you will see that during the second, this is the second biological law actually. And this is the stage where the sympathetic mode is active. So now in your psyche, you have resolved the conflict, okay? So that's when the healing stage comes. So if you were able to recognize your symptoms, you will heal quicker. Now, these symptoms will be present to guide you towards the healing process. So due to the proliferation of the cells, you would find that the gland enlarges, it produces nodule, and because of the enlargement of gland and its position on the top of the trachea, is going to cause pain, is going to cause difficulty in breathing, difficulty in swallowing. In some cases, voice will become hoarse, and it will, as well as you'll notice that night sweats and thyroiditis are present at the same time. So according to the psyche, brain, and organ level, the psyche has resolved the problem. There's presence of edema on the brain causing dizziness and headache at the same time. And at the organ level, there is breakdown of the tissue cells. We want to resolve the conflict as soon as we can. But sometimes life happens. You cannot always run away from your problems. And that's when you fall into hanging healing. Your thyroid is producing more cells to survive. You're healing the conflict, but the conflict doesn't leave you. And that's when the decomposing process is prolonged. That causes the loss of the thyroid gland tissue, which results into hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's disease. For example, if you are in an abusive relationship, And it is difficult for you to come out of that relationship because maybe you have got kids involved and now you are stuck in that situation. There has been chances that you were able to come out of that toxic situation, but because you keep on seeing your past in front of you, you're not able to resolve your conflict. And because of that, you would suffer from a hanging healing phase, resulting into hypothyroidism. The hypothyroidism is always, always, always preceded by hyperthyroidism. You need to remember that. So, what can be done to avoid falling into the trap of conflicts? As life situations are unavoidable, you need to change the perspective of looking at things. You need to become resilient, where you become aware of your body, accept that you are not fast enough. Instead of focusing on I wish I could have been faster to approach my business, or I wish I could have left earlier. Instead of thinking of what you could have done, think about what you can do now. Especially a single parent, where they focus that whatever they can manage at the present time, just keep attention or pay more attention on that part and accept and move forward and be happy with their progress. Try to look at the bigger picture. Forgive yourself and others for any shortcomings. Remember, relax and release the emotions. I hope this webinar was beneficial. Please follow my page and do leave your reviews because that will help us create more topics as per your needs. Thank you.